morning. I know, oh, I have these in my pocket. Phone adapters. I know we're starting this a little late. I apologize, but I just kind of overslept. But anyway, so today, welcome back to some more Modern. Before we get started, I want to thank the Only Scrappy and Ilbis, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, O2 for the follows while I was off stream. I really appreciate that a lot. Thank you. But today we're going to be jumping into some Modern with this pretty wacky build. So years ago, a buddy of mine created a Wither deck. When we play Paper Magic, we typically play a lot more tabletop, very casual style with a modern touch to it. And he built this pretty crazy Wither deck that when he came over this weekend, he let me pilot, and it's a lot of fun. But like I said, it's also a lot of weird. So he said that I could take a look at it, stream it if I wanted to, and mess around with it. So I super appreciate that, my guy. I have a pool of Wither cards to be trying out, -1/-1 counter cards to be trying out in this deck. And I kind of have a build already that I want to try out at some point, but this is his build. And so today we're going to be doing some practice queues. We're going to do 5 matches with his build, kind of see what cards seem to play pretty decent, what cards don't seem that good. And then we're going to tweak with stuff from here on out. So for the next little while I'm playing Modern, we are going to be doing some withering. So let's go over the deck. For basics, 4 swamps. I mean, 4 forests, 3 swamps. Nothing crazy here. His mana base, this is where this deck is a lot more different than what he has, because he doesn't have the Verdant Catacombs or the Peatlands in his decks. Peatland is a more recent upgrade, and he has like Wooded Foothills, I think, and Misty Rainforest and stuff for the fetches. Just because those are the ones he has. But I have the Catacombs, so we have Catacombs, 4 fetches, 4 with the Nurturing Peatlands is just kind of draw power, 3 Overgrown Tombs, and 4 Grasping Dunes. Tap to add Colorless, 1 and tap it, sacrifice it, put a -1/-1 encounter on target creature. So the idea with Wither is it deals damage with -1/-1 counters. I'm legit excited for this build. Me too. And the idea is you're -1/-1 countering a lot of their stuff to use these enchantments. That's how Wither works. It's basically infect without doing infect damage to the person. Festering Mummy is just a 1/1 1-drop that when it dies, you put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. Crumbling Ashes is an interesting enchantment that at the beginning of your upkeep, destroy target creature with a -1/-1 counter. Assault Formation allows each creature to assign combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. And we have these 2 dudes that are big chunkers on the toughness side, so they're 4/1s. So typically turning them into 4/4s. Hapatra, definitely an all-star of this deck. One of the key cards of this deck, I think. Whenever Hapatra, Vizier of Poison, deals combat damage to a player, you may put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. More than likely, Hapatra is not dealing combat damage to a player, but the idea is we're putting -1/-1 counters on other stuff to create snake tokens. Because whenever you put 1 or more -1/-1 counters, create a 1/1 green snake creature token with Death Touch. Blowfly Infestation. Whenever a creature dies, if it had a -1/-1 counter on it, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. So when they get a -1/-1, we kill them with Crumbling Ashes. We can move around the counter with Blowfly Infestation. So interesting there. He didn't have this one. He had one that was I don't know if I have it over here. I don't think I ended up getting that one because it's basically the same card. So there's a 3-drop. I believe it's sorcery though. from Amonkhet or Hour of Devastation that does basically this exact same thing, except for instead of proliferating, you put 2 counters on it. I thought the idea of instant speed and proliferate being a little better, where proliferate doubles your counters. I believe, or adds an additional counter. I can't remember the exact wording of proliferate, but I got these ones instead. But it's the exact same card. Put a -1/-1 counter on target creature, then proliferate. And let's just, for the sake of knowing, mtg proliferate. Proliferate is a key action introduced in Scars of Mirrodin. When a player proliferates, they choose any number of players and or permanents that have counters on them, then puts another counter of that kind that already have these counters. So basically, I think that's what you can, if you have like, if they have like 4 creatures with -1/-1, you can do it to all of them, I think. Nest of Scarabs, another big key card. When you put 1 or more -1/-1 counters on a creature, create that many 1/1 insect tokens. So again, just going to create a bunch of tokens here. Necroskitter, whenever a creature an opponent controls with a -1/-1 counter on it dies, you may return it to the battlefield under your control. So combos really nicely with Crumbling Ash. Crumbling Ashes can basically make Blowfly Infestation just go down a line of little critters. Blowfly just killing off, little dorks. Obelisk Spider. Whenever Obelisk Spider deals combat damage to a creature, it basically has Wither without saying Wither. Whenever you put 1 or more -1/-1 counters on a creature, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So, again, a lot of synergy here. Kulrath Knight. Creatures your opponent controls with counters on them can attack or block. So with this card, we could essentially maybe shut down some creatures. If we give them some -1/-1 counters, they can't do anything. My issue with this card is being a 5-drop. If this was like a 2 or a 3-drop, maybe even 4 would be a lot better. Being a 5-drop's kind of sketch. And last but not least, probably the most powerful card in the deck, Black Sun Zenith. Put X -1/-1 counters on each creature, then shuffle Black Sun Zenith into its owner's library. So it's an X and 2 black. So you can basically load this thing up and just wipe fields with it. You could do a lot of damage with Obelisk Spider. You can create a ton of tokens with Nest of Scarabs and Hapatra. You can kill a bunch of stuff with it and Blowfly Infestation. There's just a lot you can do with this card. This card is probably, we'll see, but it feels like it's going to be the best card in the deck. In the sideboard, he didn't have a sideboard because when we play casual at the table, we don't hardly ever sideboard unless we're really testing for like F&M or something. So I pretty much threw this together. It's just kind of a black-green package. So 4 Fatal Push, 3 Thoughtseize, 4 Veil of Summer, 2 Abrupt Decay, and 2 Relics. Abrupt Decay and Thoughtseize and Fatal Push are kind of all in here for the like Hammer Time, Monkey decks, stuff like that. Veil of Summer's in here for the counter discardy decks, and Relic is our graveyard hate. So I don't know how well we are positioned to deal with things like Tron or things like Amulet Titan or things like that, but we'll see. So let's just play some games. Let's see how this wacky deck does. Hopefully pretty good. I'm excited. So let's tournament practice. Like, let's not play a queue. Magic is going to be down in a few hours, or want to make sure the right deck pulls up. I clicked the wrong deck, didn't I? I thought I changed it. Well, we'll try this deck. We'll try one match of this one. This is the one I put together. I could have sworn I changed it over. We're going to keep it. Scar is interesting. Yeah, this is the one I put together, so we'll see. Don't know what our opponent's up to here. Go get an... Be really nice next turn to get Nest of Scarabs down. Growth Spiral. Okay. This isn't Hammer time, but I think this is that Temur deck. Like Temur Reclamation or whatever. Rude. Hopefully we draw a land next turn. Land? Nope. Hapatra. Yeah, sorry for clicking the wrong deck. You'll get an extra match. How about that? A sneak preview of Friday's build. Yeah, not having a yeah, not having a land the past couple times is pretty bad. Imagine how chaotic it'd be if instead of sideboarding you could choose your entire deck, right? It'd be kind of fun, just swap out decks. What is this? Memory Deluge. Look at the top. X cards your library, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast this spell. Put 2 of them in your hand, the rest of them... Okay. Cool artwork on that card. Bigger. Little 1/1 Fume Spitter here. There's a good argument for okay, for the Scar Scale Ritual, but I figured it'd get countered. Well, yield until end. I yield through our own end step. Oops. A little late to the party there. They're grasping dooms. Happen. Weird. I literally make duplicate decks so that they think I'm changing out decks and same deck. It'd be kind of funny. That'd be kind of an interesting like tournament rule, wouldn't it? Like tournament setup where you had you registered with 3 decks and every game you played a different deck. That'd be kind of cool. What's the chances of Nest of Scarabs getting countered? 1001, right? Gotta do something. Ew. You're no fun. Not getting any mana, I think that really screwed us. Did not attack. Look through attack step, maybe? Memory Deluge. Dark Typhoon. Gotcha. We're pretty dead to this 5/5 Shirky boy. We're not entirely dead. Oh yeah, we're entirely dead. They counter this. I'm just gonna scoop. Nope, they didn't. Another Sharky boy. No, Memory Deluge. Another Memory Deluge. The delusion. Everything. Well, that's probably game. Ooh, now we probably don't get to ever play a spell again. We're going to try to fire off this other Black Sun Zenith, and if it does get countered, then... You know what I mean? Memory Delusion again. Another Shark Typhoon. Sure. 8/8 this time. Big boy. Black Sun Zenith again. Still gonna take 5 though. We're like barely holding on here. Take 5. 4. Quit doing things. You're being rude. Alright, you know what? Let's just concede. What was that? What was his name? Professional Peppa? So Thoughtseize. Nature's Claim comes in. Scar's not going to be that good. Probably could go down. Go down a Festering. We'll play the real deck after this. Would like to go first. We have 3 lands, so this is a keep for me. Catacombs here. Next turn we'll Thoughtseize, and then turn 3 start trying to slam Nest of Scarabs. Oh. I think we Thoughtseize here. What is this thing? Fire and ice. I don't want to take the Rex Sage. Ice is going to be annoying next turn. Guess maybe not. We could just play Devoted Druid if we wanted to. Yeah, let's take the Wilderness Reclamation. That's weird. So when you look at their hand, it shows fire and ice individually. Interesting. My guess is they probably ice us next turn, our Overgrown Tomb. Be my guess. Which, if that's the case, we'll just play Devoted Druid. If not, we're going to try to slam Nest of Scarabs. Yep. Done a lot of damage to ourselves already. Professional Pepe, yeah. I don't know how to say that. We have 4 of the 7. Three of the 6. We could Thoughtseize and clear the way for Nest of Scarabs, which I actually really like here. Maybe. We might be able to Thoughtseize. Sure. Yeah, I'll say this is not the reason why. You know what I mean? I did this for a specific reason. I don't really care about Snapcaster Mage that much. I'm probably just going to take Shark Typhoon of them. We can't attack with Devoted Druid, but create some some Toki boys here. Building turn comes down. Growth Spiral an instant, it is. Go get another Womp here. We had life gain in the deck. Nest of Scarabs number 2. I guess you drew the counterspell right out of the gate. Yeah, things are going to get crazy if you let this resolve. You really draw a counterspell. Okay. I guess he's looking to draw a card, ain't he? Shock set in. Did he draw Archmage? Oh, you suck. Yes. You suck. You're no fun. Black Sun Zenith. Get in there, little scritters. Yeah, I'm fine with this. 3/3 with flying. Probably blocks the insect token, I'd imagine. It's fine. 2/2 Shark's not that threatening. I'm pretty sure this is 2 of their hand still. Ugh, gross. I don't think they can Shark Typhoon with Snapcaster. Good Archmage Charm is frustrating. Oh wait, I wanted to cycle this Peatland. So now. I'm actually pretty fine with that. Another Black Sun Zenith. Not probably the best draw here. Get in with everybody here. Okay, so now I don't know anything in their hand. Probably Snapcast, Archmage Charm, Fire. Okay. I'm fine with that because I'll actually just clean off the board with Black Sun Zenith. Sure. I mean, they're representing Counterspell, but I don't feel like I need to, actually. Oh, yeah, now I'm definitely going to. I guess I could sack Grasping Dooms, kill the Snapcaster Mage. I don't want to hold on these Black Sun Zeniths for the Shark Typhoon. Shark Typhoon? Memory Deluge. I'm just going to turn off the auto yields because I can react with Devoted Druid. I probably... Unholy Heat, sure. Rin. Ew. Rin's problematic, probably. Deluge again or big old Sharky boy? Deluge again. We are playing against a much like higher tier deck than what we're doing. I'm gonna ignore Rin right now. Snapcast. Sure. I feel like we're probably buried here though. Flash back in the Unholy Heat. Sure. Let's see what happens. Do we get to be able to draw here? Nope. Probably about dead. We're just buried now. Under value. Big old Sharky boy. Oh, deluge again. At this point, we're never coming back. He would have to like massively tap down for a shark. There's no way. I would love for him to go for a shark here. But I highly doubt he will. Lightning bolt. We're trying. He left up counterspell though, didn't he? There's no way he doesn't have a counterspell. Well, let's try it. Yeah. I think we're dead here. Well, we fought the good fight this match. Them just being able to do this Reclamation Sage every turn, just... They have it. Yep. All right. All right, let's actually go play the deck we meant to play today. All right. Now let's start this for real. That was a little bonus match, a little sneak preview for Friday's stream. All right. I would like to be on the play. I'm going to keep this. I don't know what I think about it, though. We are on the play. So there is that to think about. Go grab a swamp with... No, we'll just grab another Overgrown Tomb. What's going to hurt? Blood Moon. That's what's going to hurt. It'll be a Blood Moon deck. Cavern of Souls. Spirits. Ooh. About this. Lifelink. Hold on now. Whenever enchanted creature dies, draw a card. Interesting. I would have liked that to have been a third land. Maybe 22 lands is too little. Maybe he needs to go up a land. Huh. This is some hot homebrew action right now. Would love to draw a third land. Hey, hey. Like we drew it. All right, so we have an option here. I think the option is probably the spider. I don't think Necroskitter is going to be that good right now. Let's play the spider. Gotta deal combat damage to a player. So quit doing that. I don't care about that. You can just block here, then nothing happens. So yeah, it's not worth it. Next turn, I'll probably... we get a land. Might just go Black Sun Zenith. I don't know. Would love to get 2 more lands for this Kulrath Knight. Kulrath. Geist of Saint Draft. Alright, if we draw a land, we're firing off the Black Sun Zenith. Oh god. We really want to land here. Big time. Land. 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 We don't get rid of Telewisp when we lose Hapatra. But we are going to create some snakes here. And we're going to kill Geist. And we're going to gain a bunch of life and lose a bunch of life. It would have been nice to have Necroskitter on that beforehand, but you know what I mean? You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. We had to kill that guy Saint Draft before next turn. Mausoleum Wanderer. Sure. Dead weight, huh? Interesting. Probably gonna dead weight our Spooter here. Fortunately. Yep. Bye, Spooter. We have an army of death-touching snakes, though, so... I actually would really like to have... Sure. I would actually really like to get another land here, actually. We can't block their stuff anyway, so we might as well just be on the aggressive here. Yeah, I would really like a land next turn. Get this knight down. This knight could be wickedly annoying. Our opponent's deck's really interesting, so. Thural Barbara? Barbara? I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Welcome to the stream. I'll just call you Sura. Ooh, land. What are the chances it gets countered though, right? I don't know how countery. Let's attack first. I don't know how a counter heavy our opponent's deck is. We want our knight to stick. Could have spell queller. Just go for it. We're here to do shenanigans. Let's just do shenanigans. Our knight did not get countered. It is worth noting that it does have first strike. There's spell queller. We knew spell queller was a thing. We know one of their cards is a 1-drop. The 1-drop thingy. Can't think of what it's called now. One drop enchantment. +1/+1 of this creature deals. Draw a card. Okay. I accidentally closed it out, but it's a so we could have got spell quellered there if we played Necroskitter. I think I was gonna say now. The 1-drop, like it gives like +1/+1 if it's blue, +1/+1 if it's white, and then it has other text to it too. Actually feels like a really strong card. Our opponent's deck is interesting to say the least. This isn't like a normal spirits build that I've really have seen before. That one, Steel of Godhead. Okay. So they're gonna start gaining a bunch of life here because this can't be blocked. That's kind of annoying. They're down to 2, but they're gonna go up to 6. I would love something relevant here. Festering Mummy is that relevant? We can't attack them for game though. It forces a chump on Kulrath, which is going to create a ton of token. Yeah, I like this play. That means he has to chump here. This can't block. So he has to chump with Mausoleum Wanderer, which is going to give us 3 beetles and steal their Mausoleum Wanderer. I believe that's how that's going to go. Wither does damage and -1/-1 counters, so it should get 3 -1/-1 counters, and we steal it with Necroskitter. I will take your Mausoleum Wanderer, if you don't mind. And I'll take my Scarabs. Oh my god, I have to text my buddy, like, when I get this uploaded on YouTube, be like, dude, you gotta watch this deck just completely be so random and weird. So, unless they have a board wipe, I feel pretty confident to win here. They have another Mausoleum Wanderer. I don't know, I guess they could fetch up something that's really, really good. But I don't think there's an enchantment they could have here that could win them the game. I feel like we've buried them underneath tokens. I could be very wrong, though, so please don't hold me to that. Because we can... They play a critter now. Just instant or sorcery. Yeah. Okay, they can't cast that. A cool card, though. But I don't believe they can cast that. Curious Obsession on the Bow Queller, sure. You have a 5/6 lifelinker, you go up to 6. Take 1,000,000 on the crackback. Could have a Fatal Push here. He's a dead weight on his own Mausoleum Wanderer. Sure. As a tap land. Yeah, you're dead. Oh, you're super dead. This deck is so wacky. I love it. I don't even care if it's that good. Like, this is just such a fun, wacky deck. We got there. Alright. Abrupt Decay seems good. Veil of Summer seems like it'd probably be decent. Thoughtseize and Fatal Push seem decent too. Actually, a lot of our sideboard seems really good against them. Kulrath Knight, I never thought would be really that great, but showed us there, didn't it? I don't like Assault Formation that much in this matchup. Let's trim that out. Festering Mummy, I don't think it's going to be that good. I think we're more on the disruption and control plan while creating a ton of tokens. Blowfly Infestation. They're not really showing us. I feel like Blowfly is probably not that good in this matchup. Crumbling Ashes is probably going to be good. I don't think Blowfly is going to be good in this. Grim Affliction is debatable. We could probably go down a Nest of Scarabs. Just because, like, Black Sun, Zenith, and... Go down a Crumbling Ash. Grim Affliction I'm debating on. I think we keep... Maybe let's go down one Grim Affliction. Run it like this. Try this. Maybe I'm sideboarding too much, but this is the whole point of testing stuff, right? We gotta see what we can and can't do, how the deck works with and without stuff. This is a really good hand if we draw a third land. So I'm going to keep. Turn 1 Thoughtseize. Yeah, Fatal Push, Abrupt Decay. We stick a Nest of Scarabs. We're probably pretty decent. Obelisk Spider is going to be pretty big. They skip through their turn. Did you catch yourself? Okay, good. I would hate for them to skip their turn. Let's lead on a Thoughtseize. Mana Leak and 2 Geists of St. Traff's. Well, we're going to have a hard time with Geist of St. Traff. Don't know if I care that much about Mana Leak right now. We can keep that in our mind and play around it. I'm going to take one of their Geists. Geist is a hard card for us to deal with. We do have Black Sun Zenith. We just need to draw a couple more lanes. If our deck wants to give us 2 lanes in a row, I'll be pretty happy. We know 2 of the 3 cards in their hand. The Geist is a big issue for us. We really need to... Really needed to draw that 3rd land there. I would love to be able to draw a 3rd lane and try to get through one turn with Nest of Scarabs, but I think we're going to have to fire off Black Sun Zenith as soon as possible. It'd be nice if we could set up, you know, Nest of Scarabs and then Necroskitter and then Black Sun Zenith to kill the Geist of St. Traff. Just to, you know, have it all. Here comes Geist. Alright. Need a land. No land. Now I gotta play around Mana Leak too. We'd have Abrupt Decay. I'm actually probably just gonna snap the Fatal Push off on the token here. I'll beta Mana Leak if they want to. We get a land. Okay, deck. Well, unfortunately, we know they have Mana Leak up, so we can't really play into it. Guess we could. We could put down the Spider. The Spider's probably going to bait Mana Leak. Okay. So then if we draw a land next turn, we'll be set. Or we should be set for Black Sun Zenith. Not saying we will be, but they only have 2 cards in hand. We really need a land this turn, though. Mm-hmm. Take a buttload of damage here. Alright, we gotta go for it. Have to or we're dead. They have the counterspell. They have the counterspell. They had it. Alright. Dead. Geist of St. Traff is still good card. On the play, do we want anything different? That's annoying. Why'd they just bounce on us? Oh, is magic going down? We're good here? I'm gonna consider that last one a draw, which I can't do. I don't have enough room. It's one of those hands where it's like, man, if I had a second, like, I'm gonna keep it. We got some cards to try out here. Not on the play though, which sucks. That was a good draw. Sacred Foundry tapped. Temple Garden untapped. Naya something. Lightning Helix. Unfortunate. Although I would rather them use that on that card than my face. We can Crumbling Ash this turn. Let's try to stick Hapatra. Just see what happens. They want to waste more removal. You know what I mean? Pavu, sure. Gonna be a sweet turn. Maybe. We're gonna fetch Shock Kill our Patra. No. Okay. Oh, I didn't read that line. Shoot. Oops. Oh, I didn't read that line. The steam vents. I didn't even think about it. Whoops. Oopsie. It's Crumbling Ash and Grasping Dunes. Mantis Rider here. 2 sec. I don't know what 2 sec mean. I go with Death Touch. I don't know what our opponent means by 2 sec. 2 seconds? Like, is that what he means by, like... I don't know. Bloodbraid Elf. Ew. The Manamorphose. Sure. Lightning Helix. Tribal Flame. Sure. That hurt a lot. We're probably dead. Here. Might just be a little bit too slow. Blowfly Infestation. Getting in my upkeep. I got to. Yeah, I don't feel super confident in our life here. This tribal zoo deck, I think, is gonna have us. I think they just had way too hot of a start, and we had way too slow of a start. Fatal pushes come in though. Collected Company, whiff. Kavu, and only Kavu. Nice. Cade making this trade here. Take one. We're at 6 though, so we are in a very dangerous territory. We were. Oh, I guess we still are, aren't we? Shoot. Because we can only take it down to 2. Let's stick Blowfly and just pass. We have blockers. I don't think Kavu has trample. They might just kill us with burn. Or they have Mantis Rider. They're looking for that burn spell, aren't they? They don't have it this turn. Land. We're 1 shy. Oh, if we had just 1 more land. Nope, let's... I don't... He might chump here. I think he's debating on it. If he chumps here, I'll be very happy. Nope. Well, let's just make a bunch of tokens. I forgot about Blowfly Infestation. Yes! Oh, Blowfly, you dirty dog, you. I love you. I completely forgot about that. Please no bird spell. We just got a fade. I don't know how many turns of burn. Oh, they got it. Shardless Agent. Is Shardless gonna find the burn? It did. Oh. Alright. Alright. Abrupt Decay comes in. Pushes come in. That's probably about it. Oh. Okay, so... This is a matchup where I think Assault Formation seems good. Actually, like, our whole deck seems like it could be good. Hapatra doesn't seem as good here just because of the amount of removal they're going to have. Obelisk Spider and Necroskitter have a chance of surviving their removal. Kulrath also is kind of a... I'm probably going to actually take out Kulrath the Knight because it seems like it could be... It's a little vulnerable to what they're doing in the removal side of things. I like leaving in Festering Mummy, Crumbling Ashes, and Blowfly Infestation. Grim Affliction doesn't seem bad either. We got 2 cards to remove. Let's take out 1 Blowfly and 1 Nest, just because we're running a little bit more of a removal package here. Or maybe just 1 Assault Formation. I'd rather take out a Assault Formation, keep in the 4 Nests. Let's try that. I would like to play first. I'm actually going to move this a little bit. When I have the screen little, it makes it really awkward to try to move text on screen. Let's do that. We'll count that first match as a tie. Our opponent didn't want to finish it with us. But I really feel like that matchup could have went either way, honestly. So let's see what happens here. Oh. I should let him know I'm playing his deck on stream. Send me a TikTok. I watched that one last night. Okay, I'll keep it. It's a good hand. Turn 1, let's just get a swamp. Turn 2, we'll get Catacombs tapped. I mean, Overgrown Tomb tapped. We leave up Fatal Push. Turn 3, Nest of Scarabs. Turn 4, Black Sun Zenith, hopefully. Hopefully we get another land here. Like we drew it. We're gonna kill our poor little Festering Mummy. He tries to haul. They want to bolt themselves to kill my Festering Mummy. I'm kind of okay with that. Oh, I clicked through the attack step. Dang it, man. He said oops, and I just reply with same. Kavu comes down. Kavu die now. Overgrown Tomb. No. Nest of Scarabs. My problem is the Black Sun Zenith. That might have been a card to actually trim out because I was just thinking it's not going to kill much of any of their stuff, really. All their stuff's going to be a little bit too big. He called so how. The thing my buddy says. I don't know where he came up with it, but he just says, I ball so how all the time. Cascades into Tribal Flame. Of course he does. We could Obelisk Spider and Fatal Push this turn. I like that play. I like that play a lot. Swampy Boy. Obelisk Spider could potentially gain us a bunch of life too. And it's worth noting that Festering Mummy's ability is a May ability. Another Shardless Agent. Quit doing that. Finds another Tribal Flames. Whoa. How many times? Easy, Pete's. Another Festering. We could Black Sun Zenith for 1. Killing Shardless Agent and Festering Mummy. Replay Festering Mummy. You kind of like that. A nice little army of stuff. So we get rid of Shardless Agent. Make a bunch of Scarabs. Gain a bunch of life. Ding them for a bunch of life. Replay our Mummy. Although the spider is now open to being killed by a burn spell. This deck is so cool. It's so wacky. I love it. Yep. Kind of figured that was going to happen. We did get to utilize him, though, pretty well. Kavu's annoying. How annoying. So, we couldn't kill Kavu this turn, fortunately. We could ding them for a little bit more. Oh no, we could make Kavu a 2/2 and make a bajillion tokens this turn. You know, I kind of like just attacking with... I like just attacking with everyone here. You're going to block a token. Sure. Then we are going to... make 11 tokens. As many as I need, he says. We potentially have the win here. We got there. Okay. Do we want anything different? Black Sun Zenith was showing its worth I don't know if we want to trim any out. Oh. Do we want to bring anything out? To bring back in on the draw? I don't think so. Blowfly Infestation seems really strong. But I feel like it's more of a 2 of. I think we just keep it the way it is. I don't think keep it the way it is. We can lose all 5 matches, but I'm gonna have a good time doing it because this deck is just, when you can do the wacky things this deck's doing, it's just hilarious. This hand's really debatable. I'm kind of leaning on Fatal Push and the Mummy here. I'm gonna keep it. I wish one of these 4-stun hands was a Swampy Boy instead. Which I think we need more swamps in the deck. What's our... Yeah, we really should be down 1 forest and up another swamp in the deck. Make sure this is our turn. Don't know if the deck is Pioneer legal, but I think it'd be awesome there. A lot is from the... Probably not spelling out right. You spell that. PG Mirodin. That was close. All right. Our opponent's pretty friendly. We have all the freaking forests possible. How do you make a sad face again? No critter on turn 2. Salt formation? This guy's gonna be like, what is this deck? Each creature you control. Oh, has he got a counter spell? Okay, no. Sure. Oh, this deck's hilarious. Mantis Rider. You're gonna make me wait a turn. So next turn we're just gonna Hapatra Fatal Push them. Then hold up Necroskitter. That was a good draw. Hapatra. Bad play. Forgot. 2, not 3. All right, well that was a misplay on my end, pretty hard. Oops. Fatal Push is 2 or less, not 3 or less. Double Manti Rider. Probably in big trouble. We don't have a lot of good ways to deal with critters in the air. Fortunately, Catacombs is going to help, though. Unfortunately, we're in a bad danger zone. Especially because we got to pay a life now to use Fatal Push. I have a feeling we're probably dead here, though. I think that misplay was probably the game. Yep. Here comes Bloodbraid Elf. The Kavu, which is good for them, but not horrendous for us. The issue is going to be more or less because of Mantis Rider. We really probably need the spider here. We need the spider here or a way to kill Mantis Rider. Festering Mummy is not that. Black Sun Zenith is not either. Do they have the burn spell? They probably do, right? Be really surprised if they didn't. They probably have the bolt in hand. This is unfortunate. I don't think, because of the double Mantis hand, I don't think we would have probably made it through anyway. But I do feel like that was a bad misplay that we got massively punished for. GG's. I'll see if our opponent does anything. Yeah, I don't know if our opponent's typing something or not, so I just want to give him a chance to... He is. Say something, because he's not left the game yet. It just makes me wonder, you know? Give him a minute or two. Okay. There is one thing I am going to change right now because it is worth doing. And that is actually, I'm going to go down 2 forests and actually bring in another 2 swamps. Just so that has been changed because that was an issue. There's just too many forests for what our deck's doing. We really only have a couple cards with forest. So we really want that double black, especially for like Black Sun Zenith and stuff. So that's my argument there. Okay, so he left them. Go to game 2. I would like to win at least one. I'd like to edge in one, you know what I mean? We don't, but I want to try. Deck is just such a blast. I'm gonna keep this because we can Nest of Scarabs and Festering Mummy a bunch, so not perfect. Far from perfect. Debatable if it's even good, but well, that made it a lot better. So let's just go ahead and Overgrown Tomb ourselves here. I like to think we play Festering Mummy, our opponent's like, what? You know what I mean? Oh, please don't be that stupid Temur deck again. That deck was so unfun. Maybe not. I don't know. Makes me think it is, though. Expressive Iteration. Maybe not. I don't know if they play Expressive Iteration. One of that can, one bottom of my library. So one of them you make spell card's turn. There's the Spooter. I have a hard time believing we're gonna land it. Nest of Scarabs. We're gonna try to. By golly, we're gonna try. That's annoying. Sorry. Messaging somebody. Alright. Yep. Play your Rena 6. Sure. Must be a little low on land here. Stomping Ground. Tapped. So we are going to be able to Nest of Scarabs next turn. Which is going to be probably super good. Blowfly Infestation. I'm going to attack Renin 6 here. Renin 6 is going to be a major issue for us. We can get them to tap down again. I'm going to jam the other Nest of Scarabs. That's going to be the way we're going to win. Is with the Scarabs. They don't tap down Fury. Does Fury get to be on the stack? Or does it disappear before the damage? Sweet. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, they just wasted their Fury. Sweet. Brushfire Elemental. Interesting. Some kind of Temur like aggro list. Does have haste. Can be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Sure. Interesting. Well, we are going to get to kill it with Grasping Dunes. We're going to need to jam Nest of Scarabs. Double Brushfire. Annoying. Hit us for 3. I will dump that one. I can't, right? Got 5. It's hard to read with that. Type. trying to debate on what we do here. Fortunately, we can't Grasping Dunes. Big issue. If we could Blowfly Infestation and Grasping Dunes, it'd be awesome. Play the Grasping Dunes again. We could just kill both of them now. Make 2 more tokens. Get Renin 6 down to 1. Obelisk Spider. Following turn, or we can't get hit by these guys again, right? Attack Rin. Hate to do that, but we're in a bad... He has a third one? Get out of here. Wow, you had the Nutso draw. Wow. Insane. Go to 5. We're dead next turn, depending on what we draw. I mean, we're dead to a burn spell. We're dead to a burn spell. You know what I mean? We have to deal with... We have to do what we can. That card's specifically good against us because we don't have anything with power 2 or more, I don't think. Even with Assault Formation. Then 4 at him. A Renin 6, just in case they want to kill one of them. Try for the Obelisk Spider here. We did get to land it. Back with all these guys. I find it hard to believe they have 5 cards in hand and not 1 burn. They got to be digging for 1, right? Why not attack first? Or Black Sun Zenith? Because that would take logic and make sense. Welcome to the stream, but yes, Fear, you're totally right. I should have attacked first. Opponent would be at 3 now. Yeah. You're right. Hey, thanks for the follow, too. I appreciate that. No, you're right. I should have totally attacked. We're down to 1. Yeah, because if they don't kill us this turn, we would have had them dead. They have to have something, right? We have exactly 6 on board. They're just digging for it. They're trying really hard to find the kill. They got it. Wow. Okay. Oh, come on. Dude, people have rage quit so hard against this deck. I'm counting that one. That was a salty win, and we worked hard for that. Just something to note while you're looking at that deck on Stream Decker, I did go down after the first game 2 forests, and I went up 2 basic swamps. I've not updated because it's basically the same list. But with this is a mulligan hand. I'm going to take too much damage from the lands. But with, I'm going to keep this bottom Blowfly probably. But the reason I didn't change it is because it's all the same list, just minus 2 lands. It was a little bit forest basic heavy. What is this thing? Sacrifice, return creature to its owner's hand. Yeah, sure. That would be, I think, the second or third person who's dropped the match against us after the first game, especially if they lost in a salty way like that. Our first game we drew because they left the match after I won one, they won one, then they left the match. So I'm going to count that one as a draw. We lost against Tribal Zoo, and then this last match, I feel like they got a little salty. They didn't. They they were getting the Nest of Scarab beats. Shadow Spear is a big issue for us. Hapatra. Play Hapatra here. Might have been worth trying to attack first. Metallic Rebuke. Wow, was not expecting that at all. Alright. Literally was not expecting that. I forgot that was even a card that exists. So, good to know. Future references. Relic, sure. Irrelevant against us. I'm actually just going to play this tapped, I think. Play another Festering Mummy. Probably going to end up cycling these Peatlands at some point. I'm curious to what our opponent's doing here. We have no graveyard strats in this deck at all. Oh, they're a Thopter Foundry deck. Can see where this is going. Black Sun Zenith is looking real good if we can get a Nest of Scarabs or Necroskitter. Necroskitter. Big Necroskitter. They're probably taking a second to read this card. I love this deck. Like I said, this is like a deck you could go 0-5 with, but still be happy because you just had fun doing random weird things. It actually feels pretty good. Like, this is not going to be a tier 1 deck by any means, but it does feel kind of strong. Sure. I would love to get Nest of Scarabs. Genius Smith, sure. Yes, I'm assuming this is the Thopter Foundry combo. Would be my guess. By any chance also an equipment? I mean an artifact or enchantment? We have a lot of enchantments in our deck. Hitter. So I could take their their thought monitor here to try to draw a bunch of cards. Might just attack with the deck. Looks great. Thanks. A buddy of mine built this deck. In the Stream Decker, I did not update, but we went down 2 forests, went up 2 basic swamps. And it seems to be a better mana base. So the question here is, I might just attack with everything. And then Black Sun Zenith, because then we steal their Thought Monitor and Ingenious Smith. We draw 2 cards off of it. What I'm debating on. I think I'm going to. What the heck? Why can't we just get games? I gotta have to tell my buddy, it's like, this deck, like, I don't know if people are rage quitting or what, but I can't get a full match out of people. Is it because I was taking too long? We on the play or the draw? We're on the play. Oof. I'm gonna keep it and probably bottom. I'm gonna keep it and probably bottom Blowfly. It's our least impactful. Let's just hope we can oh, let's just hope ooh, affinity. This might Blowfly actually probably would have been really good here. Hold on, what's this one? Okay. Or ooh, good draw. Our opponent might have been mad with us on taking too long with our play there, but I was trying to figure out what our best route was. Hold on now. I'm missing stuff here. Come Springleaf Jung. Many of the players in the tournament practice room won't play a full match against something off meta. I recommend that you either play in a league or 2-player queue if you want to full matches. I understand that, but when I'm playing something like this, I don't want to spend money to play against other people. So while I find it kind of annoying people won't stick around and play a full match, I'm kind of okay with, dude, if we can get this Black Sun Zenith up to, I'm gonna go Necroskitter next, Obelisk Spider next turn. But I don't want to play, like, I don't want to pay money to play, I don't want to pay money to play a bunch of matches that I could potentially lose money out. So while I find it kind of frustrating to not be able to get a full match in, I'd rather play for free and just try different matches and find cool people who are willing to hang out. In casual matches, people often don't care about playing to the end of the match. They're either testing builds, practicing sequences, checking mana base, etc. Yeah. No, I completely understand that. 1000%. I just, that's my reasoning to why I'm not. Dude, if I could set up this Necroskitter, it would be absurd. It is worth noting they could Springleaf Drum for Metallic Rebuke. I don't know. I think we're going to be too slow. They had a pretty crazy hand here. I'm probably going to be slow. They can instant speed cranial plating, right? Yep. I think we're dead. Oh yeah, we're dead. Okay. All right, fair enough. Go to sideboarding. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Thoughtseize is debatable, but I don't think that's where we want to be. On the other hand, there are also a lot of players playing casually, non-competitive, or very weird decks just for fun, which is what our game plan is right now. That's it's kind of what we're doing. So I completely understand other people backing out. I think the tournament practices are good enough to try to figure out if you have something that's viable. And not so much in the sense of like, we're going to destroy the meta, but it's viable as in like, yeah, this could be fun to take to an FNM and maybe win a game or two. You know what I mean? It's frustrating. We're toast. I brew off meta decks, so I often go to those places even before the decks are truly ready. I understand that, yeah. Yeah, when it costs so much to buy the cards, spending the money... Hold on, I gotta think for a second. Spending the money to go down the assault formation. Spending the money to do the thing, to play the matches is really like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know if that's the route I want to be in. Festering Mummy. Hapatra is probably not that good in this matchup, right? Actually go down one more. Hapatra. Knight could be good. Knight's a little slow though. I think let's go down the Knights, bring in the Hapatras. Knight could be good. I just think we're going to be too slow for Knight to really be good here. I would like to go first. I'm going to keep this hand. Well, Catacombs. Like, do we Catacombs for Mummy or do we just Fatal Push? Probably let's stick Mummy. Holding Jar. Sure. Loading Jar is going to be a little bit of a nuisance here. I like how I said I was going to do Festering Mummy, then did not. Did not end up playing Festering Mummy. Let's stick Hapatra. Speaking of assault formation, I was going to ask you about those. Do you really think they're worth pulling your weight? This is my buddy's build. This deck is a list of my friends. I'm not taking any credit whatsoever for the brew of this. He let me try this out. The idea of assault formation is for Necroskitter and Obelisk Spider. So the idea is you basically hit them with 4. You can, cram in with 4, get a bunch of triggers and stuff like that. So far, there's been one time so far playing this stream that I felt like, oh yeah, this could actually work out really well. A lot of the time they felt kind of but he really loves them. And like I said, this is his build, so I'm just running his. Friday, I'm going to come back to Wither, and we're going to try some other cards. I got a giant pool of cards that can be Wither-ish. So we got a lot of stuff to try out that we are going to try out at some point. So I don't know, personally, how I feel. Dude, Black Sun Zenith off the top would be great. Cram Nest of Scarabs. So yeah, I don't know how, you know what I mean, how I really feel about I think we attack with Hapatra. How I feel about them. Being a long-time mtgo player, I can say that spending money on cards is actually 99% a good investment, because you either get profit from them by playing leagues and win some profit, or sell cards for increased prices later. Yeah, that's I've thought about doing deck rental, but one of the things I don't like about deck rental is you not owning the cards. I like the idea of owning the cards, because then, like you said, you kind of have an investment. It's like buying paper magic. You can always sell them back later. Even if you don't get them for the price you paid for them, you can still get some of your investment back. And then you just always have the cards that once you have the cards, you can start. Oh, come on. I would love a, love a Black Sun Zenith here. Let's go get a swamp. I feel like Knight shouldn't be main deck. It should be in the sideboard, if even in the deck at all. Knight has felt cute. There was one game we played against Spirits where Knight was actually absurdly good. It was very, very good. Let's actually make their blocks really bad here. Or we can get rid of their welding jar. Quit doing that. If they want to sack their welding jar for this, I'm fine. Yeah, there was one time where we could get punished for this. I don't know. Where the Knight was super strong. Oh, what's up? So I saw your name. It wasn't Babefish like it normally is. It was Babe the A. And I was kind of thinking it could have been you, but I wasn't entirely sure. What's up, Adam? You following the stream? He is the one who made the deck. Babe, I'm just gonna call him Babefish, but he is the deck creator. So everyone, a round of applause for creating this crazy fun deck. Catacombs. I never used and rent services because I always buy cards for myself. But for some people, rent. Yeah, I can understand where renting could be good. Like I completely understand. Let's just cycle this. I completely understand that. And I've thought about it just to have variety and stuff, but I personally would rather cram down Nest. I personally would rather own them. I'd rather save up money and own them. I think some easy adjustments could be ramp. Devoted Druid. Devoted Druid 100% I think belongs in this deck. It counts as ramp. It counts for Nest of Scarabs. It counts for everything. So I think that's the way. Holy smoly, that's a lot of Mirror Enforcers. Sorry, we're gonna have to throw Necroskitter under the bus here. Get a couple tokens here. Yeah, I think Devoted Druid comes in. I feel as though we're not getting our cards out quickly enough to be relevant. I imagine this deck I imagine a deck like this would be lean heavily on stuff like Force of Vigor, perhaps for Hammer Time. Yeah, Force of Vigor is super expensive. So when I was making this deck online, I was kind of going for more of a budgety route for right now. It's not apt that way. Throw down Crumbling Ashes. So I messed it up. Oh, it's alright. Are you following the stream, Adam? Right, Devoted Druid's a good call. Yeah, Devoted Druid, Wall of Roots. I didn't think of Wall of Roots. Oh, shoot. That would be an awesome card to include in the deck. Yeah, I'm not attacking. But we are going to throw down Festering Mummy. We can get Blowfly Infestation. Things are going to get crazy. So, MTG, Wall of Roots. How does Wall of Roots actually read? Put a... See, it's a -0, -1 counter. I don't know if that would work the same. I don't know if that would actually still work, because it's whenever a -1, -1 counter. It might be considered a different type of counter. We held him off for a turn. Bye, Mirror Enforcer. Find the Fatal Push. I'm actually going to blow up their Springleaf Drum here. No point in them keeping that. If they want to sack Welding Jar, they can sack Welding Jar. So yeah, I don't know if Wall of Roots will actually work or not. I know it's super pricey. I have forced myself, but I got super lucky and opened it from a chest. Oh, that's lucky. That is very lucky. So he did sack the Welding Jar to save Springleaf Drum. Sure. Fine with that. Yeah, so I don't know if Wall of Roots work. It could always be a thing, like, I don't know how much Wall of Roots is on Moto. I'm actually probably going to Fatal Push our Festering Mummy onto either the Companion or the Enforcer here. Because now we can just make a bunch of tokens. There's a lot of builds you could really go with this. That being said, the Voter Druid works for sure. Persist creatures, yeah. Wall of Roots are on the cheapest version. It's 20 cents each. See, yeah, that could be worth it. Why is that in red? Oh, it's because it's you're messaging me in specific, maybe. Yeah, Wall of Root, I mean, Devoted Druid, 100%. I've already got them because that was one of the first things I thought of. That was one of the first things I thought of, was like, that is going to be a good card in this deck. So their big stuff I'm not as worried about now. Etched Champion. So Crumbling Ashes wouldn't kill him, correct? So Etched Champion's an issue. We need to find Black Sun Zenith. Nope. Wait, why can't I... Oh, it's activated only as a sorcery. Shoot, I didn't know that. We can make him a 1/1 though, right? I like that at least. Go ahead and kill one of these guys. Let's get in with our snakes. Protection from all colors. No. All right. We're not. I think you're right that Wall of Roots doesn't work, sadly. That would be sad. I mean, I could try it. They're not that expensive, and I believe they're in the Yawgmoth combo, which I'm curious about trying out, so... what's the thing again? Choose an artifact card from your graveyard. You may cast it this turn. Okay. Oh, I love Black Sun Zenith off the top. Please. We got 4 of them in the deck. Grim Affliction will work. Not on that, though, will it? It will work because it doesn't have to target. So we can target this guy. I think we're doing it. Proliferate. Right? Yeah. Gotta love it. Always yield. Always yield. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, like I said, you gotta love it. I don't know if we're gonna get there or not, but we're doing stuff. I just browsed Google a bit. I think Wither won't work with Wall, sadly. I don't think it would either. Oh, they got another Etch champion. Gross. Black Sun Zenith would be hilarious again, though. Swamp. 10, 16, 17, 18, 2, 3, 5. So they don't die this turn, so we need to attack with not everything, but a lot. We could attack with 1, 2, 3, 4 snakes. Most of the insect tokens. Do that. Forgot he's got protection colors. Oh well, we're still getting a lot of damage in. It's fun to watch how a solid tier 1.5 deck struggles to overcome Wither deck, right? This deck, if it can get its legs, which is why I think Devoted Druid would be a really good play in this deck. If it can get its legs and get stuff out, this deck can overwhelm pretty insanely. Ooh. Why that thing doesn't have haste. The big one, though. Equip 2. Oh, no. Oh, no. They have it exactly. What a top deck. That had to be a top deck. GG's opponent. Oh, what a crazy top deck. It was absurd. Exactsies, just enough. It was very close, yeah. I think if they didn't get... like, that was a card, that and S Champion they needed. Oof. I think this is a mulligan. This is not great, but it's a keep. Bottom one of these Overgrown Tombs. I don't know how well this deck would do with, like... I don't feel like this deck does very well if you mulligan very much. Yeah, I definitely think we need some kind of mana ramp. Temple Garden tapped. Fancy Temple Garden, too. Yeah, that was a very close game. Huh. Well, that seems like an oddly specifically hard card for us to beat. Protection from black, so I can't target it with Festering Mummy's ability. Add in Devoted Druid. Yeah, Devoted Druid's 100% add in. I don't know what I'd probably take out the assault formations for it, maybe. I don't know. Heliod ooh, might be. Well, that answered our question now, didn't it? Peatland was not a good draw. It's not gonna be that bad of a redraw, but we really need Black Sun Zenith. Black Sun Zenith is about the only way I think we win this. Or get out of this anyway. I don't feel super confident about this matchup. And I also, this would be my first time ever playing this. So I don't entirely understand. Like, I've never really seen that. I've heard of this deck. So I'm not really too sure how this is going to go for us. BSC secretly the best card in the deck. Which one's BSC? Black Sun Zenith. Oh no, yeah. Black Sun Zenith is not secretly the best card in the deck. Black Sun Zenith is the best card in the deck. Opponent gets Ballista. Gotcha. Yep, they did, didn't they? Yep. I don't think we're gonna win. You are dead next turn if you don't draw anything relevant. Alright. Fair enough. Let's not let them see a bunch of our deck. I don't know if Abrupt Decays. What's relevant against them? You had wait. Oh, I forgot about Peatland. My bad. Well, even with Peatland, we wouldn't have enough mana for Black Sun Zenith to clear anything. That's our only really relevant card right there. Luth definitely seems weak here. Go down the assault formations. I guess we just bring in the fatal pushes because we can have room. Bring in the Thoughtseize. Let's go down a Crumbling Ash. Go down a Blowfly. Try it like that, maybe. Discard spell could be relevant. I didn't have any discard spells in the main board. Oof. All right. Well, this is a decent hand. I really like the idea of Crumbling Ashes here. We might bottom the Spider. Crumbling Ashes might help clean up their board. Maybe. This is a hard decision. I think we're going to bottom the Spider. As much as I hate to bottom the Spider, I think we bottom the Spider. Should have started on Overgrown Tomb. Arbor Elf. Ew. Go get our Overgrown Tomb then. Thoughtseize this turn feels decent. Auroch, Heliod. Collected Company. Oh my goodness. Probably the Heliod. That is a hand that is just ungodly terrifying. Could be susceptible to Black Sun Zenith, though. We really want to draw a 4th land, though. They're going to drop Urok this turn. Probably not. They have like 5 mana on turn 2 with Utopia Sprawl as a draw. They're going to save it for Collected Company. Sure. I mean, if we push now, we just force the Collected Company, which I'm not a fan of. Yeah, Coco's terrifying. They're probably going to get it this turn. I mean, they're probably going to hit something really scary. They have double Coco and double Champion. They get another Champion and a Ranger. Oh my god. How is this not a tier 1 deck? This feels so good. They get a Ballista. We really need a land next turn. Like, super badly need a land. And they have Heliod too. Oh my god. I think we're dead. Wow. This deck is absurd. I've never, like I said, I've never played against this deck or seen it. Solitude and Prismatic Ending might say something about that. True. Ouch. Opponent can't cast non-creature spells this turn. Holy smokes. Feel brutalized. Like, this is not fun. Yeah, well, we tried. Well, to be fair, you missed playing it pretty... Misplaying against this deck or, like, misplaying our deck? Did Fatal push it upkeep for an instance? Oh, yeah, you're right. Think of that. Yeah, you know what? Oh, wait, can I not cast? Just do that. Can they go infinite here? Getting it. Eat. Okay, they're just going infinite here. All right. Let's play one more. That could be maybe fun. No, it does not matter. He kills you anyway. Yeah, I picked up on that. I've never played against that deck, and I've never seen it played. I've just only have heard about it. So I feel like it's okay making misplays and learning from them. Yep, that's true. You never get good unless you make mistakes. 100% true. Yeah, that deck seems it seems good. Like, it seems kind of absurd. I would like to go for it. All right. Gonna keep this. He is a Yorian. Okay. Again, should have led on the Overgrown Tomb. Not thinking very well. The deck was super popular in the spring before Modern Horizons 2 was printed. What came out in Horizons that kind of creamed the deck to make it unfavorable? Well, probably everything. It's Modern Horizons, right? Hate to do it, but I want to get this Hapatra down. I'm gonna go Hapatra Spider. Probably just keep dumping spiders if we can. Solitude, Prismatic. Oh, so all the good stuff. Fury, some other stuff. Yeah, I could definitely see how those would be disrupting. Unmarked Grave. Oh boy. So this is Re-animator. Oh, we bring in the Thoughtseize and the Relics. Oh, okay. How does Archeon work again? Yeah, that's not good. Black Sun Zenith does not save our rear end here. You know what might though? Crumbling Ashes. Can we put a counter on Hapatra herself? I have my reasonings. Because they're more than likely going to bring back, yep, Archon this turn. Archon comes back with a negative. I didn't think of that! We can discard one of the repeat obelisks. One of the repeat spooters here. Holy smokes, I didn't think of that. Oh, I just realized something. Me too, LOL. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't even think about persist coming back with a -1/-1 counter on it. Yep. Goodbye, Archon. Oh, you gotta love it. Gotta love it. He's just sad face. Okay. We're gonna put a counter on the spider here. He's not giving us any targets, and I want to keep producing stuff that we can like chump sack to Archon. That's awesome. Yeah, completely did not see that at all. I forgot that persist gives -1/-1 counters. Oh, that's hilariously awesome. Be nice if we could stick down the knight next turn too. Start gaining some spiders, start gaining some life. We do have Black Sun Zenith. That could also help deal with stuff. The only problem is we kind of took away the top part of Spider's ability. But now that we have a snake token, if we can keep attacking with Hapatra, we can keep putting the counter on the snake tokens and just replace themselves. Spreading Seas. Boo. It's alright, I guess. I would really like a untap land here. Which all of our lands are untapped. I would just like a land here. Preferably not a shock land. I'm also not crazy about getting another Peatland. Oh. Well, shoot. Now the backfire. Hello. I just... Rutro. Well, let's get rid of the spider, I guess. Well, that's an issue. That's a good draw. Well, now that we know that, we're not going to do Hapatra's ability. Quit doing that. No. Okay, so you have to target a creature. Hapatra's Mayo. Yeah, I was thinking of just getting an endless army of snake. Well, not endless, but a replacing army of snakes, and then slowly burning them and gaining life. But yeah. So Hapatra is going to be dead this turn, unfortunately. To note for all players, Moto is going to be offline maintenance in 1 hour and 7 minutes. Yeah, I know, but it doesn't have to keep interrupting the games. You know what I mean? This is probably going to be my last match of running this too. We'll talk about the deck a little bit, and we'll also do a raid. We'll raid somebody. Thanks, Adam, for the follow. I appreciate it. He's been a long-time friend. Coach, thanks for the follow as well. I really appreciate it. Let's sack the Hapatra, I guess. Discard the Knight. Yeah, I thanks for the follows. Yeah, like I said, after this match, we'll talk about the deck a little bit, and then we'll raid somebody. Black Sun Zenith for 3. We get a land, we could do more, which would be nice. Sweet. You know what? Let's attack first. They want to block our Death Touch Snake. Let's play this correctly. They want to attack the snack. They can. I mean, if they want to block it. We're going to create 6 tokens here. The card nobody expects. Black Sun Zenith. And it goes back in our deck, so it'd be nice if we just top deck it again. The Knight card. The Knight was the card that made me want to build the deck. It's a cool card. I love the artwork on it. I just think it's a little bit too slow. If it was a 3/4, it'd be 100% worth it. But being a 3/3 where it just dies to every critter under the sun is pretty rough. We gotta. Well, I mean, we're gonna deal with this next turn, but this Archon is probably gonna kill us because of its burn damage. Really good card. I like the Knight here. I do too, because they're gonna have a harder time dealing with it. I just thought Black Sun Zenith would have been a better play than the Knight. Mole Drifter. Ew. The games tend to protract anyway. Well, we can see what we draw here. We do have a redraw. He ephemerated. You dirty dog, you. Black Sun Zenith unfortunately does not get the win for us here. I don't think we have any card in our deck that kills. Well, let's just see. We get both black. Oh, if they didn't have Ephemerate, that would have been a good card. Back with everybody. Hail Mary attack here. Black Sun Zenith for 1. All right, he's got it. Go to game 2. Thoughtseize comes in. Relics come in. Veil of Summer is interesting. It's just draw power. We probably have some really irrelevant stuff against them. Crumbling Ash was really good there. Assault Formation is debatable. Oh man, we got a lot of stuff that I don't really want to take from them. Necroskitter could be really good. Spider could be good. Grim Affliction could be good. Let's go down the mummies for the Thoughtseize. That's the idea there. Go down 2 Hapatras. On. No counter, no bounce. Okay. Oh. Does Veil do enough for us? I don't know. It was debatable. I want to get like one last like best 2 out of 3. Veil is very debatable. I'm gonna keep this hand. I like going Festering Mummy into Crumbling Ashes into Blowfly into Vizier. Oh wait, say that. I meant in that matchup. Yeah, Veil's a very strong sideboard card, but I don't know. I think my argument was just if we had like irrelevant cards, it'd just be draw power, but I don't think we had like I probably would have ended up not bringing in I actually like just putting a Hapatra down here. I probably would have ended up not bringing in the Veils if I couldn't cut out, which looked like we had a lot of good stuff. But the Thoughtseize and the Relics had to come in. We playing the same guy? I don't think we are. No, because he had the T-Rex, but we might be playing the same deck. Gonna Blowfly here. Attack you for 3. Not doing Hapatra's ability. Solitude. Gross. Yep. Bye, Hapatra. No, this is probably some kind of blue-white control deck if they have Supreme Verdict. Yeah, it is another guy, because the other guy had the 3-headed big old dinosaur. Necroskitter. They have like an Archmage Charm or something here. So I'm going to just throw down the Crumbling Ash. See what happens here. Okay, let it go. Okay. They probably have like no creatures. It's probably why they're like, whatever. Yep, I was right about that. My guess is they definitely would have countered Necroskitter. Which I guess there's an argument for that to keep them from drawing 2, but What are you gonna do? We'll let our little 1/1 mummy go all the way. It's also worth noting Blowfly Infestation is also not a May ability. It'd be sweet if you could go the infinite combo on stream. It would, wouldn't it? I don't know if I'll be able to. Explain again what the infinite combo is. It has to do with the spider. I remember that. Spider and Hapatra, I think. Spider, Hapatra, Blowfly Infestation. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'll probably just cycle this Peatland here. Because if you have the spider out, you gain a life, they lose a life, then they bury. Another Hapatra. Or what happened? Clicking through stuff. So we could play Hapatra and Blowfly if we wanted to. Yeah, so what it is you have Hapatra that puts the counters on everything. Then you have the Obelisk Spider and then Blowfly Infestation. So the idea is you get a -1/-1 counter on something. You target Hapatra's snake. Hapatra makes a new snake. Blowfly Infestation moves. So you get this infinite combo of just burning them out of the game. It would be awesome to get on stream. It'd be really sweet. The other Teferi. Oh my god. Teferi.deck here. Well, we're probably going to lose this. Fortunately, we're not really doing anything that relevant. Yeah. I typically only play tournament practice. I very rarely do leagues just because I'm trying to spend money on getting cards rather than playing leagues. But I typically play only during this time period, and then maybe on weekends occasionally. Typically from like 8 to like 10:30. I mean, I've been streaming longer today, but that's typically the time period I play in. Grasping Dunes. Sure. We have no payoff card for that. But yeah, that's typically, this is my the area I typically spend time in. Yeah, we're just gonna get locked out of the game, unfortunately. Grasping Dunes. There's no point in attacking the Fury right now. I guess it prevents them from bouncing stuff. I'm always lurking around playing some random nonsense. I'll definitely keep an eye out. Yeah. See me, I typically create games where I join them if they have no stipulation. So yeah, if you see my name in there, feel free. And I don't even care if you stream snipe. In tournament practice queues. Where there's no money on the line. Memory Deluge. So that's what we're up against. I also play Pauper. I play a lot of Pauper too. Modern and Pauper are the two formats I play the most. Pretty much the only formats I play. I wouldn't mind trying out Pioneer, but the pride is on the line, right? Have all the spreading seas in the world. The rate they're going, they might deck themselves. That'd be hilarious. Four-color domain zoo blade is my latest amalgamation. It's super fun. Do tell deck lists. I'm very interested in that. I always like the domains, but domain blade, curious about. Our opponent here does not like to have fun shenanigans. They definitely are going to have a counter spell for whatever we're going to try to do. We have no green mana. That's worth noting. They have locked us out of green. Yeah, if you got a link, go ahead and link the deck list. I would like to look at it. If you want to share the deck list, that is. You don't have to share the deck list. No pressure. But I am curious, because I would like to do a zoo deck. General Furious Rorik, or however you say his name, I got him as a promo card, and I've been, like, obsessed with wanting to try to get him to play at some point. The Scorpion God was something I want to try in this deck. Dude, guess what? Out of the pool of Wither cards I got, boom. I got him. I will try him out in the deck. That was when I was looking at cards. I was like, Scorpion God seems fun. Keep drawing cards that aren't relevant. No, I'm all about sharing. Give me a quick second. Okay, no worries. No rush. We'll be here for a minute. If we can get a green source and actually be able to play cards without them being countered, we might be able to go infinite. We actually would. If we can draw two forests in a row, let them tap down on something, we can go infinite. So the combo to go infinite is you have Hapatra, Spider, Blowfly, and then you have something to give it a counter. So when Hapatra gives a counter to something, you know, you get the token. So you get a snake token. Well, then Hapatra, the Obelisk Spider deals 1 damage, and then you just kind of keep moving the snake tokens down. You keep doing it down the line, so you can just keep killing them. And once Blowfly Infestation, once a creature dies that had a -1/-1 counter, you move the counter. Which I think we need one other critter to do that, maybe? Alright, I'll pull up your deck list on stream, actually, after this match. It's still game 1, right? We can't do anything. I don't even know why I'm, like, having stuff. That's my rough draft I've been using. You'll probably want to tweak the mana base and fill out your sideboard accordingly. Like I said, I'll take a look at it here in a jiffy. Pretty sure we're dead though. Although they're not presenting a decent clock. The problem is they're just gonna counter anything we play. They have a full 7 in hand. If this is Shark Typhoon, no. And they've scryed a bunch with Castle. We have the ability to Black Sun Zenith if they tap down something. Considering you can do the Shark Typhoon at instant speed, it's probably never going to happen. They're eventually going to be able to do alt the 1 Teferi. That pretty much sealed the game. Oof, rough. I want to stick around and hear what you suggest as well. I'm always open to advice. Okay. Like I said, I'll once we finish the game, I'll pull it up. Yeah. Hey, yeah, thanks for following too. It's just Freeberg, right? How do you say that? Freeberg. When it drew all, yeah, he's got all the spreading seas. Well, he's like more than halfway through the deck. You can go infinite with Nest of Scarabs. Yeah. Yeah, because Nest would also work like Hapatra does. You're right. So there's multiple. Well, what's the likelihood it's going to get countered? 1,000 to 1. That's all I got for this turn, opponent. What is that one? Huh. I've never seen really anybody use that one. Deluging again. The sideboard Veil of Summer comes in 10,000%. Thoughtseize probably. Maybe Abrupt Decay. We have a lot of stuff that's pretty relevant here. They're not presenting a very good clock though. Have to have the shark, right? Oh, no, they just have that. All right, we're not going to be able to beat that every turn. Let's go to sideboard here. Abrupt Decay, Veil of Summer, Thoughtseize. Relic is debatable. Relic's actually probably good. So, Assault Formation might be good to turn on the clock. Crumbling Ashes is not going to be good here. Whatever. So I want to say this before we talk about the this domain deck. I've played a lot of tournament practice queues, and it's really kind of like today has been like just a completely different day for people not wanting to stick around. That's the wrong tab. Here's the right tab. All right, so domain lists. We got Ragavan, Mystic, Kavu, Mantis Rider, Charlotte. So you have all the good critters. Renin 6. All the Skyclaves. There's Battlefield. Attach it to target creature. Wow. Huh, that actually seems really good. Sword of Fire and Ice, Batter Skull, Cauldra, Tribal Flames. And through the mana here. Pretty standard mana stuff. Gigantha. And then, yeah, the sideboard. This is an awesome looking list. Ragavans are all pretty good. Ragavan must have went down in price to be only $287 for a playset. Yeah, this looks like a sweet list. You'll have to let me know how it does for you. It looks super fun. Like, I would honestly be really willing to build this list if it wasn't for Renin 6 and Ragavan being so expensive. Like I said, these like zoo decks just seem like they'd be such a blast to play. Yeah, seems awesome. Nice list. I don't really have any suggestions. I mean, they're all pretty good. US actually, but I've been asked that, and if I'm German, a lot too. Oh, are you from Sweden? Pronounced Freiburg. Always gets butchered. Yeah. You know what's weird? Is I know a lot of names that are just pretty standard that get butchered a lot. Like, I don't understand like where the disconnect is. But so are you not German or Swedish either? But yeah, so I'm probably gonna wrap it up here because we're gonna be losing our window for maintenance to be down. It looks like most everybody else too is off. They're all, yeah. There's not really anybody to raid because they're all on arena. There's not really anybody to raid is playing Moto. So Let's talk American as can be all my life. Yeah, but I meant like ancestry, you know? I'm American all my life, but I got predominantly German ancestry. Yeah, thanks for the follow. Tomorrow I'll be playing some Pauper. Friday we'll be trying a different Wither build. But thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the follow. I really appreciate it. But yeah, let's talk about this real quick. This deck is super fun. There was not a time I played this today where I was not having a good time. We went 1-3-1. Oh yeah, German, my heritage. Yeah, me too. My family's maiden name is Deschamps. Yeah, I'm glad you stopped by too, and I appreciate the follow. And I also appreciate the domain zoo list. Like I said, I would be really willing to try it out if Ragavan and Ren and 6 weren't so pricey. But anyway, so this build, wicked fun. I'm gonna count the first one's a draw because we won one, we lost one, they left. And it really could have went either way. But I had a really good time playing this deck. This deck is just wickedly fun. Festering Mummy was alright. We needed a way to kind of trigger it. Crumbling Ashes was both good and hurt us. Blowfly Infestation was solid one match, been kind of hit or miss. Assault Formation definitely didn't feel super strong. Hapatra was really good. Nest of Scarabs was incredibly good. Necroskitter was decent. Obelisk Spider was very good. Black Sun Zenith was the best card in the deck. Black Sun Zenith was absurdly good. Very, very good. The Knight was good in the one matchup. We played it. So, I don't know. I would be willing to try another build with it. Having some kind of ramp. Because I think if we could ramp into it, we'd probably be a lot better off. And that's kind of what this deck's missing. It needs some kind of quick mana generation because I definitely don't make decks to win. I just make them for fun. True. And this deck is a blast. This is probably my favorite deck you've put together. And I've played against and I've played several of your decks. The Eldrazi one's really fun too, but this deck is just such a wickedly fun deck to play. Yeah, Hapatra was good. Blowfly feels like a good sideboard card. You know what I mean? It feels like it'd be a good card in the sideboard here. Grim Affliction was super good. Definitely one of the better counter removal spells because of the proliferate, where you can just tax everything. So definitely like Grim Affliction. The mana base was really solid once we switched out those 2 forests for 2 more swamps. The mana base was super solid. And I felt like we were fairly good at getting our lands to cast our stuff pretty easily. Sideboard was all right. You know what I mean? Nothing crazy here in the sideboard. So I thought about playing this deck Friday. And I actually might make some tweaks to it, but I might just play it just to try out different stuff. So we'll look at this thing Friday. But I do have a massive pool of stuff. You know, Grind to Dust seems good. We have the Thoughtseize, the Inquisitions, but Virulent Wound. There's a lot of stuff. I want to do a Jun build of this at some point. So there's a good amount of stuff to try out for sure. There's different builds. I'm going to be playing with these Wither things for a little while now. When I come to play Modern. Because, like I said, I just had such a blast playing this deck. It was so much fun. Thanks, Adam, for letting me be able to stream this and play around with it. I super appreciate it. Like, again, hats off to Adam, to Babefish for creating this deck because it's so absurd. Yeah, so we'll just try out some different things. We'll see what's good, what's not good. Maybe we can wither down. We can wither down a pretty solid list of magic cards to play Wither in Modern. And I did have someone said about this deck in Pioneer might be good. Unfortunately, a lot of the good like bomby cards are not Pioneer legal, so that kind of sucks. But yeah. So thanks for hanging out. Real quick, you can sub Hierarchs for Ragavans and cut that cost down. Ooh, that's actually a good point. That is a good idea. Thank you for streaming with it. It's fun to watch it be used. Yeah. I'll be streaming this Friday, too. Not this build. I'll be streaming probably this build Friday. But when I go to play Modern, I'm going to be tweaking and playing different builds of this list. And I'd like it if you could jump on the stream, so maybe me and you can work out together, Adam, of kind of figuring out what seems good and what doesn't seem good. We can kind of piece this thing together. But yeah, Hierarchs for the Ragavans would be a good substitution. Ren and 6 feels a little too necessary, though. I mean, you could play something different. But yeah, Ragavan. The Hierarchs don't compare to Ragavan, but it could work. But yeah, thanks you all for all the new follows. Thanks for checking out the stream and hanging out in the chat. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'll send you a text when I go live. I typically go live around 8 a.m. So I typically stream Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to around 10:30, 11 or so. Everything I stream will be uploaded at a later point on my YouTube channel, which there's links in my About page to my YouTube stuff. This stuff, the Magic stuff, will probably be up this weekend. So if you want to watch the replay, it'll probably be up then. And I've typically been doing a random game Monday, Tuesday, Magic the Gathering Pauper. Then Wednesday and Thursday is a different game. And then Friday is typically Magic the Gathering Modern. But because I beat the game I was recently playing, I decided to stream Magic the rest of the week. So hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for Pauper. And I'll catch y'all later. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for hanging out. Peace.